Shelley Steele, past AITP president, and I'm proud to announce Jeff Matthews. Jeff Matthews is the president and CEO of Atlanta-based JM Speaker Incorporated and has over 20 years of experience working in Fortune 500 companies. He specializes in public speaking, technical training, corporate IT consulting for such companies as Cisco Systems, Verizon Corporation, Frito-Lay, GE Capital ITS, Fulcrum Group, ABP Technologies. Some of his certifications are CSE certification, Cisco Sales Expert, Channel Partners, IP Networks, Routing and Switching Concepts, CEFSS certification, Cisco Express Foundation Sales Specialist, IP Networks, Routing and Switching Concepts, and the basic steps required to incorporate wireless and security technologies in the IP networks. CSSA Certified Sonic Wall Security Administrator, CCA Citrix Certified Administrator, Citrix Access Platform Specialist, CNE Certified Novell Engineer, solve high-level networking problems, planning, installation, configuration of networks, Certified Fiber Optic Instructor on fiber network architecture and applications. As a polished speaker, Mr. Matthews has been a member of NSA, a leading organization for professional speakers, since 2005. He travels the country helping clients understand how new communication technology is changing their lives. He engages listeners with entertainment, and his presentations are humorous, filled with ideas that work. He admits the most rewarding comments he has received are from executives who tell him, "Now I finally understand." Please welcome Jeff Matthews.
Well, good morning, all. I'm Jeff Matthews, and I'm here today to kind of talk about technology. I'm an IT buff. I've been around for, like she said, about 25 to 30 years in the IT field, in the IT industry. And I've moved around as a programmer, as a systems engineer, right, where I put together systems, enterprise networks, specializing in routing and switching, how data moves across enterprise networks. So it's pretty exciting. I'm also a developer, programmer. I started out in COBOL. Most of you guys are too young to understand what COBOL is all about, right? Okay, I got one back there. All right, a couple, great. And it moved into the C++, the HTML, the Java, right? Started out with on mainframes, right? AS400, remember that? Minis. Mm-hmm. The IBM 168, 370, 168. Nobody knows what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. You do. Okay, yeah. Great. Well, I started out as an operator and moved into development, COBOL development. Okay. So in that time, that was centralized computing. You guys have heard of that? No, centralized computing, where everything is in one area and everybody's accessing the data from one centralized repository. Make sense? So mainframe. Then they moved over to the Mini, which is the AS400, which we worked on and developed on. Again, a lot of centralized computing. Then we went to where? Client server, right? The Novell servers, right? The Microsoft servers, Unix, Linux. But we moved into a distributed environment, right? Where we had multiple servers, right? Web servers, database servers, SQL servers, just a multitude of different servers which were all distributed. So we worked in that arena, and you all find yourselves in these different arenas. That's why I'm explaining these. Then we moved into what? Virtualization. Wow, what does that mean? Well, again, that's distributed computing. And then we move into cloud computing, which we are now, and we're back to what? Centralized computing, where everything's up on the cloud and you are accessing the data from one area. So no matter what technology you're into or what platform, it all is going to come back around. So when I say to you that technology changes every so often, I mean 6 months, 9 months, a year, but it always keeps coming around, right, and more innovative. Okay? So today, I'm not going to talk technology to you, because you all know technology. I've seen some of the scores downstairs, right? You guys are doing great as students, right? You're looking to get into this IT industry. So what I'd like to talk about is how to get into the industry. In other words, one false move will cost you. All right, so when you first start out in this industry, you want to make sure that you get into what you really want to get into. And as I told you, I'm a programmer, right? I'm an engineer. I can put together servers and networks, enterprise networks. I can also optimize these networks. Routing and switching, go into a router and configure routers and switches, right? Move that data properly, optimize the network. Security is a big thing, right? Wow. So I'm a certified Citrix and appliance security administrator. So you have to know security. But one or two things, don't just become a web developer. Don't just become a systems engineer, because the way the technology is moving now, you have to have 2 or 3 of these different types of technologies under your belt. At your new job, you're going to be asked to do, and I heard in the session before this, when they interview, they have all of these different descriptions in the job description of these different technologies. Oh, you have to know Java, you have to have 3 years of networking experience, you have to know IP. Well, they're not kidding, because they're going to ask you to do that, right? So you come in there as one network person with 1 certification maybe, which is great, that'll get you in the door. But you want to be multi-diverse in your technologies, so that when these opportunities come up, you will not be left out, right? Because the competition is stiff. You guys are all just coming in college or coming out, right? And competition right now is very, very stiff. But it's on point. And the biggest thing that you have to have, and I kind of have some printouts here for you, some handouts, is you have to have that savviness in you, right? You have to enjoy what you're doing. I love going to work every day, believe it or not. I don't have to be there till 9. And I'm there at 7, 7:15 at Starbucks, and I'm in the office because I enjoy what I do, right? When I'm not out speaking, I'm a consultant with Cisco Systems and different companies around the country. And I consult, I do network design and optimization, right? Again, IP, data movement specialist. Companies call to say, hey, our data's moving slow. What can you do to speed it up? Listen to this. Verizon's charging us on that T1 pipe big dollars. And we keep growing it because our system's slow. We think we need more bandwidth. They call us in, we go in, we do an optimization on the network, find out. No, don't keep throwing money at the T1 line and giving it all to Verizon. Optimize those routers. I went into the table, took a look, and there's a server in Atlanta that's going to Chicago, Rhode Island, Ohio, right? Destination. Rhode Island is where they do all their accounting, their number crunching. Why do you have them routed through a server that's busy, busy, busy? That's what's taking up all the time before it moves into Ohio. Why don't we get it off of that router in Rhode Island, reroute that table straight from New York into Ohio, and bypass that accounting server, that real busy situation over there. Well, thank you very much, Jeff. You just saved us $1.3 million. I just won a couple hundred of that, right? Give me $12.50, I'm good to go. Right? But you see what I'm saying? So I had some routing experience and network experience, IP, right? I could do that job. And they could pay me $250 an hour, right? Took me about 7 hours. Really 3, but you know, I'm getting 8 hours. Right? May take a couple days, whatever. But you have to have that experience. So multi, right? Some of you are developers, that's okay, but now if you're going to be a developer, you have to know routing also. You have to know bandwidth and how to optimize networks, because if you have a database server sitting over here taking, you know, it's on a good route, but it's not indexed properly. So when somebody hits that enter key and goes out to that database server, it takes them a while to search through that server and then ship back that information to the end user. That's a lot of time. And you have 350 people accessing that database all day long, right? So you have to know a couple of things there. Routing, IP, and then database management, right? So in these printouts that I gave you, I've got a 2012 and a 2013 salary list, and all the different IT jobs that you can get into. I know some of these on here you've never seen before. You're like, wow, I didn't know that was even a position. And it pays that well, right? So you can look at those a little later, but I just wanted you to compare the 2012 to the 2013 list and then judge yourselves on where you might want to be. And there's some descriptions in the thicker piece there of all the jobs that are on there. Okay? Now, being savvy, you're going to have to get some training when you get ready to go out to find a job. Most jobs will train you, and I think that's great. That's where I got a lot of my certifications from. They will spend $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 on you to send you out and get trained after they hire you, so that you can specialize and grow into your certification. But coming right out of college, I think you all now get a Microsoft certification. You get different certifications coming right out of college now. Am I correct? Most of you? You're aware of that, right? You come out with some of these certifications. Well, that's not job experience. That's getting in the lab, right, and taking a test. And then when you hit the real world, you'll be like, wow, I haven't seen half of this stuff that's going on out here at the pace that I need to keep up. Okay, so when they hire you in, they expect you to hit the ball running. And a lot of us can't do that. We have to it'll take us 6 months to a year. They understand that they still would love for you to come out of there with some good lab work, be able to configure IP routers, right, servers, set up, now there's Xerox printers and everybody involved now, right? You got to set these darn printers up now, right? Have everybody printing like they want. You have mobilization now, where people are taking their personal laptops or the company laptops or iPads now and doing most of their work from home, right? So there's a lot of technology, a lot of things involved, and you have to get yourself trained up and certified in some of these areas. There's a lot of publications out there that you can read. There's a lot of online internet information now with video on how to configure a router, on how to set up a virtual workstation. So these things you must take in, especially the young people. They're internet savvy anyway. But they also have books and publications also for everyone that wants to read and do that type of thing. But take a look at this one here with being diverse in some of these different technologies. Mobilization, cloud, virtualization, right? Database management, security, networking. These all sound familiar to you all? Software, unified communications, that's voice over IP, that's real big. And there's different industries out there that you can get into. The IT-related stuff out there, right? Outsourcing companies that sell partners with IBM and HP and so forth. They're partners. There's a lot of young people coming out of college being sales reps, sales account reps for HP, Dell, right? And then there's a lot of companies that are around Atlanta area that need salespeople, that need technicians, that need support people. They have call centers. So there's a lot of work out there. If you can't find a job here, especially in the Atlanta area, then you're not really trying. Okay? Now, one of the biggest things, the reason I'm not going to talk technology, because I'll be here from 7 in the morning to 7 at night talking technology. I love it. But we're going to talk about your personality skills, your personal skills. When you're interviewing and sitting across the table from somebody, or if you're at work, you got hired, and now they're looking for somebody that really has some personal skills. As a programmer, I'm not the normal programmer. Oh, I can sit for hours and develop code and test it. 3 or 4 hours at a pop before I even realize it's 4 hours that went by. But I have to get up and say hello to somebody. How you doing? Right? Everybody okay? Go to another department and mess with them. Same thing I did at school. I get my work done, then I go around and mess with everybody else. How you doing? With Jeff, now they got to get their work done. I know, but I'm done. Right? So you have to be personal. You have to be able to stand up and speak in front of people. I remember my first time, I was systems engineer, and the director came in and said, Jeff, we need you to come and talk for about 20 minutes on this technology that you're putting together. Where we are now, and what we're putting in, and how we're going to look in the future. Just give us 20 minutes if you can. And I'm like, oh, okay, I can do that. Well, I brought a little thing in there, set up a little deal. I'm talking to executives now, C-level people. And I'm there for 45 minutes. And I just tried to get off, and they were like, no, I had some more questions, Jeff, this sounds great. I was there for an hour and 15 minutes, right? Because I was excited about what I was doing. I want you all to see what I just put together. Look at this technology. You'll be able to do this. You'll be able to do that. You'll be able to do this. And we'll be able to do this, Jeff? Yes, you will. And let me tell you how. And I just thought, I'm going up here, right? And they're loving it. He says, Jeff, wow, I told you, 10, 20 minutes, and here you up here for an hour and 15. We won't call you back no more, right? But he did. But you have to be the same way, because you are in the field of technology. You have to be able to explain this and explain it to different, diverse audiences. Does that make sense? If we're talking tech, I can talk technology until you don't understand me, but when you got some C-level people now, all they want to know is numbers. Jeff, just tell us what we are and where we're going to be and how much it's going to cost. Right? So I had to talk some technology, but I would stand up here with them so they understand. But if I'm talking to you all, we get down and dirty, right? And we can talk deep technology and have fun with it, right? Yes?
I think that's the key word right there, is just having fun with it.
Have fun with it.
Because when you're trying to present something and the people in the audience know you're not having a good time selling it, chances are they're probably not going to feel the same way.
Absolutely.
And their whole point will just be
Right.
fly over there and they wish they weren't in the room.
Good point.
And one of the things I like to do is over at my office, I work on campus, I work for the IT department.
All right.
And one of the things I like to brighten people's day is like, you can have the rest of the day off. I'll talk to your boss with pay. You won't believe the kind of reactions I get to that.
Yeah.
And they just put a smile on their face, like when I was here at Waffle House just a couple minutes ago. I just tell that to the worker. She's like, trying to get me fired? I'm like,
No.
She's
No.
laughing. You put a smile
But you see, just what he's talking about, you have to have a personality. You have to. And in an office environment, they don't mind you knowing your technology. When you have to come to somebody's office and set up a laptop or a desk jet or something of that nature. It used to be the engineer would come in and he would sit down and he wouldn't even say hi to the person. Right? He'd sit down and he'd plug everything up. He wouldn't even ask him if it works or not. He knows it works. I'm a technician. I know what I'm doing. And I walk out of the office and leave. Don't leave a note if they're happy not to be there. No personality whatsoever. Right? So that brings you more business, that gets you involved with the people that work a little bit more. That's what they're looking for. All right? So not only are you bright with your technology, but you need to be personal. Make sense? Now, also with your list here, we've got some different technologies there towards the back. And I'd like to take some questions real quick, if you have them, based on hiring skills, stuff of that nature. Have any of you been on interviews at this time? Yeah. Okay. Now, when you go to choose a company, and it's in your documentation here, you want to choose a company. When I say picking a company, you want somebody that's going to be around, that has integrity. I chose a company in the back of your documentation there, GE, company I used to work for. That's just some information about what you're looking for in a good company. And when I say wasting time out here, you could be in a job that you just had to have the job, right? Took an interview, I had to take a job because I needed money. But don't get caught up in this company if it's not the company and what you want to do with that company, with your skill set. I personally would not take that position. It's not always the case with a lot of people. They need money, they need to have a job, getting out of school, I need something. So that's okay. But plan to move into a company that more suits you. All right? If it's an IBM, they wear suits all the time. Now, if you're not a suit guy, you're not going to be as happy going in suits every day. Where if you go to Yahoo, you come in your boat shoes and shorts. Okay? I know Cisco, they got a kind of a laid-back environment also, right? Not as laid-back as Yahoo. But think about your environment and where you want to work. Not only the job and the description, the pay, right? But you want to make sure the environment is right. Does that make sense? Because you won't be happy. You'll be 2 years stuck at a job that you hate getting up at 7 o'clock, going to work when you don't have to be there till 9. Right? Question?
I gotta say that
Stand up there so they can hear you.
you hit the nail on the head with
I hit it again?
because if you're at a job where you're feeling like you're not, I wouldn't say not contributing, but you're not having fun, doesn't feel right,
Right.
you will hate that job. And I've worked at EWSPIT. I've had 2 different jobs in that same department, and both jobs are like light and pay.
Yeah.
Compared to the first one, was very micromanaging. The second job was a lot more fun. You got a lot of coworkers. That's going to make you want to go to work every day. That's going to make you want to, it's give and take. Because I get paid, well, frankly, I get paid a little less than what I should compared to other businesses. But I have a lot of pride in my job, and I will not leave it if I don't have to because of the people I work with. My boss is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very supportive, a lot of professional development. And if you don't find that match within that job that you want, it's not worth getting that job in the first place because money is, no matter how much money is thrown at you, it's not worth your happiness. Money does not equal happiness. And just keep that in mind.
Great point. Great point. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. So he's making sense, right? Making perfect sense. If you have a family, now IT is very rigorous, and I've got some people in the room that can kind of vouch for me here. There's a lot of sometimes travel involved. If you have a family of 1 or 2, right, or just getting married out there, just starting a family, you have to talk to the company about that, right? Because a lot of them send you on the road for 2 or 3, 4, 6 weeks at a time. Of course, you get to come home every 2 weeks for 2 days and then back out on the road again. So you have to make sure that when you're in the technology business, buddy, we have to be at work, okay? I don't think I've missed 1 day and 2 days in I don't know, 5 years or something like that. That wasn't scheduled, right? You have to be there. Question?
I just wanted to add on to what he said, because internships are a great way to, if you get into an internship with a company that you think might be a good fit for you,
Absolutely.
you get done with that internship and you realize, oh, this isn't the kind of company I want to look for, so that when you graduate and you go look for the full-time job, you know that you want to stay away from that kind of company, or you get into, like, I'm in an internship right now where I absolutely love the company I'm working for, and it actually makes me a little, worried, because I would love to stay with this company, but if there's not a position for me when my internship is done, then I'm going to have to look elsewhere, and it is kind of a stressful thing, but at the same time, I know that, okay, this is the type of company I would like to work for, so I can look at the traits of these other companies.
So you guys hear that? Good point. Like I said now, you may not get the right fit at first because you have to get out there and get to work. Coming out of school, I need some dollars now. I've got to pay for this apartment, little car, and so forth and so on. But don't forget to plan to go where you don't waste time, right? Find out what it is, what industry you want to be in, healthcare, legal, right? In the IT-related type areas like we talked about, and they're all in your documentation there. So you want to be precise and get there as quickly as you can. Now you can spend the next 25 years at a company that you enjoy working for, and you're in the right technology. They have the best benefits out there for you, right? So everything's great. I picked the company one time because they had a pond out back, ducks, all out back, right? So at lunchtime, I would typically throw through the ducks, you know, the pond out there and feed the ducks. Well, that was great. I thought that was fantastic. But now everybody's got ducks, you know, in the pond, so I have to find something new. All right? Okay, any other questions? Come on. All right, somebody who wants to talk technology. All right, bring it. Bring it. Okay, question? Comment?
The last 2 years I've been a corporate recruiter, and what was surprising is we had an opening for a help desk person. We had 1,100 people respond to the ad. I put my telephone number in the ad, and only 4 people out of 1,100 actually called me. This is support. You'd think they'd want to pick up the phone. So the other 8 people that actually interviewed for the job, 4 of those were the ones that called me, and then 4 of those that I picked out. So if someone puts a telephone number in the job ad, reach out to them, because that's part of the test is are they going to pick up the phone next week to call.
Absolutely. Great point. Great point.
I was just going to thank you for actually coming out and saying that, because sometimes
Can you stand up a little bit?
like somebody like me would look at that and be like, am I supposed to do that?
Yeah.
Because it's almost like you're crossing a line. I mean, crossing a line that you're not sure you should be crossing, because it is so out of the norm. So for you to say that, you know, now I'm going to look at your stuff, you know,
Sure.
to look at.
Put the telephone number there, we're looking for.
Yeah, because I would be afraid to do that. It would obviously miss out on opportunities.
Great. Well, like I said, the industry is very competitive. Don't pass up these opportunities, these chances. Like I said, they're looking for you, right? And they will train you. They'll pay you well. Pick up the phone and give them your skills. I enjoy interviews. That's my chance to really just let them know who I am and what I can do. I sometimes still interview out here just for kicks. Seriously. Hey, Jeff, you did such a great job, Jeff, man. I tell you, can we hire you in here? I'm like, well, let's do an interview, see what you got. I'm marketable. I want to see what I can get out here. If Jeff, we offer you this position, I think, well, I tell you what, buddy, I'm gonna pass on that, but I appreciate the opportunity. And well, Jeff, if you know anybody, if I know anybody, I'll surely contact you. So keep my cards, guys. I'll interview for you. Yeah. Yes.
Something I want to say to like some of the freshmen, sophomores, juniors. I'm a senior. I'll be graduating next month, and something that I've learned in my time in college, if you're in web at all, like design development, make a portfolio, make an online portfolio, because and have the URL on your resume. I've actually gotten a lot of attention because I have that. I've done all sorts of competitions. Obviously, you guys come here, you do the competitions. Try and do something a little out of your comfort zone, even though you may not do well in it, you may place, you may not place. You get the experience of diving into something that maybe you wouldn't have tried before, and maybe you find you like it, maybe you find you don't. But that goes with what he said about diversity in the technology piece.
Absolutely. And that's very true. Like I said, you don't know how many people that have one good skill set. I think that's great, man. But you could they're paying $135,000 out here, you know, for your skill set plus another. Why don't we get you certified? Get here and get this specific certification so you can get these type of positions out here. Don't hurt yourself out there. No more just one technology. You have to be diverse. Because they're going to ask you to do it, right? Who had another question there? Somebody else over here? No?
I have another comment.
Okay, stand up.
So, like I said, I work for IT on campus, and one of the things that really irks me is when people let the technology replace who they are.
Yeah.
Because if you provide support, don't always rely on like remote desktop or stuff like that. You don't know how much it means to a customer that you're working with to go with them, just go to their office, talk to them, and show them how to fix a problem. Go into them, and one of the reasons why I really love my job is because of the people I provide support to. In fact, people have bought me like lunch. People are willing to, like, I'm not kidding. People often to find me lunch that somebody actually offered to take them to dinner lunchtime.
The perks, he's talking perks here.
Yeah, I'm talking perks, but it comes because you want to be a human being. You just don't want to be some robot at like a person over the phone. I cannot stress how important like interpersonal skills are. Go ahead and just make a joke. Just step outside your comfort zone because IT is a huge part of who I am,
right.
but it's not overall who I am. I stress more, I think I put more of my emphasis on my interpersonal skills and talking to people than I have over code.
There you
That's
go.
not because the code's not important. It's because you have to have a proper balance. And if you achieve that proper balance, you will impress a lot.
You'll be successful. Great point. Appreciate it, man. So again, we can talk technology all day, but he's right. I mean, like I told you from the beginning, you have to have this certain skill set and mindset, right? I want to see more people smiling, right? We're technical people, but they think we don't smile. We do, right?
It's a stereotype.
And that will get you the job. When you're talking to the recruiters out here, they'll see all these fitting great up there, right? Question?
I was just going to make a comment. See, a lot of people think that they can't actually like talk in front of big groups. A lot of people have that fear. One of my most successful jobs I ever had, I was a telephone salesman. And I was #1 in sales for like 8 months running.
Oh, you're good. Good.
That's besides the point. But all it is you just got to find that common point that you have with whoever you're speaking to. If there's that one common point, you use that, and that's what you drive. Like when I was, when you're calling a sale, when I was calling to do a sales, it was like, oh, you got to do a little bit of research too, because like I was selling stuff that we were a business development firm.
Okay.
And so like we're calling like trucking companies, we're calling, mom and pop grocery stores and
So
stuff.
sales would be still.
Yeah, so like I knew nothing about the trucking industry, I knew absolutely nothing about construction. So, Google was my friend at that time.
Sure.
I sat there, I was like, trucking, what do I need to know about trucking? And I just took like 3-4 pages of notes, everything with trucking, everything with construction. I sat there and I would just ask them 2 questions. Be like, oh, what kind of construction do you guys do? Oh, well, we do a lot of like, laying concrete, stuff like that. Oh, you guys do like, DTA work? And I'm like, oh yeah, we do a lot of that. And like, why was this salesman know that I do that kind of
Yeah.
stuff?
So you'd be good in a sales environment, man.
I'm very good at that, but I like
Right.
messing with computers.
Great. With those personal skills you have there.
Yeah, but that's all you gotta do, guys. Is like when you're talking to someone, you kind of gotta beat around the bush a little bit. Just find that common bond, something that they can relate to,
Yeah.
and that's where you go. Anyone can talk to anyone.
Oh, right. You have to have that.
You have that fear of speaking, but once you find that common thread that's going on there, it's all over. That
There you go.
fear is gone.
There you go. How many of you right now, you got a quick question? Comment? Great.
I like how it led that into this, because back to that position, remember we had 8 people that interviewed for the job?
Yeah.
The one that got the job had never been on a network before.
Wow.
See?
8 people, one of them I even rejected because he had 7 typos on his resume.
Oh.
He was an internal referral because he came through and impressed some people. And they hired him for his personality and advancement ability that they could actually have in front of clients later.
So
And
we
amazing.
nail on the
He ended
head.
up- he was a terrific hire.
That's how I got
So-
one, and that's how I got one of my favorite jobs that I've ever had.
Yeah.
I was working at a gaming shop, and I'm a huge gamer, so it was just like, I knew the owner, and he was just like, well, I need a sales guy to sell some stuff and just, do a tournament organization.
Right.
So I submitted my resume, and he was like, you know why I selected yours? I was like, why? He goes, because everybody had a typo. And I was just like, okay. He goes,